Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Hey, welcome to the Steve and Crypto Show, presented by thestevestrout.com. I'm Steve.
I'm Crypto Zoo. Welcome back to your third favorite podcast. We appreciate you for listening as always. And if you are looking for more content and you can't wait around for the next episode, go to our favorite place in the world. That's Patreon. Go to patreon.com/SteveCrypto. You can contribute as little as $1 a month, and you get a variety of content. There's a bunch of stuff waiting for you right now. Go check it out. Movie reviews, concert talk, all kinds of different things. Go check it out.
There's
Patreon.
even a recent chat.
That's
There's a recent
right.
chat with our friend who's joining us today in a little while here with Daniel Haynes, the author. He covered a convention for us, so he's going to pop in a little bit later and tell us about that con that we've been kind of hyping the last couple episodes. But yeah, go over to Patreon and listen to that. What else we got?
Oh, man. Well, as usual, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com if you want to contribute to the show. That's a great way to show your love. You can go to Etsy if you're looking to get some merch. If you want to get a t-shirt, a coffee mug, you want a magnet for your fridge, tote bags, there's an assortment of things waiting for you. Go to Etsy/shop/Steve and Crypto merch right now. Well, finish the episode, then go check that out.
They could pause it and come back.
Sure. Yeah. Pause this right now. We'll wait.
And then go back and buy more at the end of the episode.
Etsy/shop/Steve and Crypto merch. Go check it out. And then, of course, you can follow us online at CryptoZoo88 at the Steve Strout. We also have a Facebook group that we encourage you to join. And if you got something that you're working on that is on the creative, spooky side, go ahead and share it. Let us see what you got.
And yeah, those are all the great ways to support the podcast. And of course, sharing the episodes, subscribing wherever you listen, leaving reviews, that all helps just as much. You mentioned that Facebook group. We've been really active in there. People have been posting a lot of cool projects they got going on. I've been posting stuff that I got going on that I've been kind of really excited, waiting for my moment to share it on here, that I got a gig for a new magazine that is launching soon called Space Monsters. It's going to be kind of like a throwback to the old Famous Monsters kind of magazine. And I'm going to be doing a regular article called Indecent Exposure, which is going to be covering some of the new blood in the horror industry. So stay tuned for that. I'll, of course, let you know when that drops. Go to spacemonsters.art. A-R-T. I gotta memorize that because it's going to be something I'm pushing a lot.
Eventually, it'll be a reflex. You'll have it down. You won't even have to think about it.
Yeah, just like you with the Etsy.
Yeah.
Which I never remember. I'm just like, go to Etsy and fucking search for it.
Right.
But, yeah. What else has been happening? We Rondo Awards.
Yeah. We're thankfully
enthusiasm.
Thankfully, we are up for nominations once again, which is really awesome. You know, like I don't even I hate to say it this way, but I don't care if we lose because it just feels good already just to be nominated with a list of great people in the podcast and horror community.
We're on a ballot with like legends like
Yeah.
Joe Bob and Svengoolie and Elvira and Sam Irvin and a lot of our friends that have been on the show, just like awesome people. And I want to win, man. I want one of those ugly trophies.
Well, of course, I'm not saying I want to lose, but I'm just saying
that's like our Oscars.
I'm already happy about just being nominated and feeling like we're included and a part of it.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's how the world goes now. You get the participation prize.
Yeah.
They should give us a little ribbon or something. But no, it is. It's real. It's a victory in itself to be included and honored with everybody.
You mentioned some people that were on the list, were nominated along with, and we're actually going to be able to talk to them face to face at Crypticon, Joe, Bob, and Darcy.
Yeah, yeah.
If
We'll see
anybody
them there.
is able to travel in May, we definitely recommend that you come up to Seattle for the first weekend of May to check out Crypticon. If you haven't experienced yet, if you're listening to this show, you're going to like it. Just saying that. If you're checking us out right now, you're going to like that convention. And you can go to Crypticon Seattle's Facebook page right now and see the list of people that they have. And they might even have more coming your way, but there's quite a good list right now of the guests that are expected.
Before we get too far away from the Rondo thing, so I want to let people know, go to rondoaward.com and get details on how to vote. See the whole ballot. Even if you don't vote in every category, look through it. Find a new creator or somebody to support. Find
Yeah.
something new to enjoy. And there's a ton of great entertainment and endless. There's like 20 categories, and every category is stacked with like the who's who. But you have till April 20th at midnight to vote. It's easy to vote. You just send an email saying Stephen Crypto Show is my favorite podcast. I cast my vote for them, and I love them and adore them. And I I almost said something inappropriate, but
And
we'll
of
stop
course,
there.
you can vote for whoever you want. I mean, there's such a
No, they
long
can't.
list of people that you can vote
Not in the
for.
podcast
Um,
category. They got to vote for us. Every other category, you choose. Choose your own adventure.
you can put our name for all the categories if you want.
Yeah,
That's up
you
to
can
you.
write in. You can write in.
Yeah.
Stephen Crypto Show for best movie. That's it. Best
Somehow
magazine, the
we
Stephen
win.
Crypto Show. Yeah, that'll.
That would be
Yeah,
insane.
we already win. Um. So
That's
yeah,
right. We got to win by being nominated.
you mentioned Crypticon. There's some other things. If I don't know if anybody, like two people watched our Instagram live the other day, where I mentioned that we are doing SquatchCon in some shape. The Stephen Crypto Show will be represented at SquatchCon, which is April 10th through 13th in Port Angeles, Washington. And we're going to be there just the Saturday of that event. So come out and see one of us or both of us or whoever's there. We'll make like a hologram of whoever's not there. It'll be like me and a hologram. Um,
Yeah.
but we'll be there. It's a cool, more leans more towards pop culture, but they love us up there. So we got to go show some love to our local con, and that one is right before the Olympic Collectible Expo, which we're usually hanging at. That's the one in Silverdale, Washington, on April 26th. They
Yeah.
have it in a mall, and there's guests and comic creators and vendors and people selling toys and comic books and cards and
Yeah. It's a good time, man. It's free. And they've been doing it for like a decade now. And they're trying to get the word out because a lot of people have come through and have said that they didn't even know that it was a thing. They're like, you guys do this a lot. Like,
because we're not running it.
so yeah. Um, but it needs all the help and promotion that it can get. So if you have friends that are collectors, then just tell them about the Olympic Collectible Expo and keep an eye out because
Tell them to go
it'll be
collect
coming up.
some Steven Crypto Show T-shirts over on Etsy. That should be their new collection.
There's quite a good assortment of collectible items at every show, and we usually do it like twice a year. They'll do it again in the fall. Melanie Cohn, the voice of Lucy from Charlie Brown, she'll be there as a special guest.
She's never been there before. That's wild. That was
We
sarcasm.
we do not have an
She's become
episode with an interview with
she's become
her
a fixture,
live from the OCE. That never happened.
but we really like her, so it's okay.
Yes. Yes.
We want to see her every time. My dog's being very needy right now. He's really wanting attention, so I'm like, I'm paying attention to you. I promise. But he's over here like, love me. So yeah, that's April 26th. That's right before Crypticon, which is May 2nd through 4th. Um, and I can officially announce that the Halloween Expo later in the year in October out in Spokane, Stephen Crypto Show will be represented there again. And that is moving way up my ladder as one of the top shows, like for sure.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Grit City and whatever else might pop up in between.
And I love Grit City, man. Like we get a lot of great interaction with people there. It's
I
been
thought you were
fun.
gonna say I love grits. I was like, yeah, grits are good, man. I like grits.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Nothing
this
wrong with
is dinner
grits.
time right now. I'm skipping dinner to do this. It's all
Likewise.
right
Yeah.
though. It's worth it. It's a good trade. It's a good trade. I could skip a meal, but I can't skip an episode of the Stephen Crypto Show. That's corny, but anyways. um, last episode we talked to Scott Greider. He's a stage theater actor, puppeteer, puppet maker, artist. He portrays the imp on the Svengoolie show. He came, got to chat with him, and dude is just hilarious. Just a ball of energy, just a big personality, just a great dude. And I had a blast talking with him and getting good feedback on the episode. People are
Yeah.
enjoying it, so
I wasn't there, but I listened to the chat and I enjoyed the talk
it's a
about
character.
like the grocery store, like staying in the grocery store if there was like a zombie breakout.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys were
So
chatting about that. That was kind of funny.
I think we decided on Walmart.
Yeah.
Rolling
Target
back
too. Target
prices and
has some
yeah,
good stuff.
they got good stuff, but Walmart got like more tools and more stuff you can use as weapons and more food and more, you know what I mean? In
Yeah.
certain states, Walmart still has guns.
Well, and I was just thinking, what would you prefer to have a Subway in there or a Starbucks and a Target? I mean, there's nobody there to work for you.
I mean, the subway I could run. I've done
Or
that
do
once
you
or
want to
twice.
though? Knowing this is why I ask you this, knowing your history with Subway.
If I have
Like,
a Walmart full of like tater tots and like all kinds of other shit, why am I gonna eat Subway?
yeah, true.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. You probably won't get much produce deliveries either, though. So you'd be kind of screwed there.
Yeah.
So once your produce turns, it's like fucking garbage. I don't know. I've thought about this a lot. So it's like I would try to get because you probably have access to the roof. And as the
Yeah.
produce starts to go bad, I would use it as compost and I'd go up on the roof and I'd build it, make a garden
Hmm.
because you usually have a lot of like soil and shit out in the garden center. So I would make a garden on the roof. You're right in the sun.
You definitely have thought about this a lot.
I have. I have. And you could use compost those veggies as they turn. Use that to help your garden grow and grow new veggies.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. The
I'm,
more you
I've
know.
thought about it. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready. But
This is
so yeah,
Surviving the
last
Apocalypse on the
episode,
Stephen Crypto Show.
last episode we talk about apocalypse survival with the imp from the Svengoolie show, and um, we also talked recently. I believe the episode prior, I was still recapping Creep IE and talked with a director named Joe Lamb, who has a movie called The Fetus, which just hit a limited run in theaters, and it's probably going to spread into more screens. But he's been pouring it around festivals, conventions. And like I said, there's a limited theater run happening. I think it just launched on the 7th, but he sent a screener to check out. And figure we should give it a little mention here real quick before we bring our buddy on to tell us about his convention experience.
Yeah.
So The Fetus.
I watched it last
Stars.
night.
You did watch it. Okay.
I did. Yeah, I watched it last night. I had a little bit of fun with it. It was cool. Uh, I feel like I've heard Lauren Lavera vaguely mention that she had like another horror project in the works. So I imagine this was what she was referring to. So yeah, if you're tuning in and you're not sure who Lauren Lavera is, uh, she is from Terrifier 2 and 3. Um, and then Bill Moseley was in there playing her father. Um, the the camera shots were pretty good, like for a lower budget horror film, it was shot well. It looked good.
He did a really, really good job within his means,
Mm-hmm.
making it look good.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was cool. I enjoyed it.
It was good. My only uh first of all, Lauren Libero was awesome.
Yeah.
Like she did a really amazing job, and I want to see her in some dramatic roles where she could really show something.
I think she could shine in that type of setting.
Um, I was I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was a blast. I do recommend checking it out if you can. Um, I just had my only gripe was I was confused on if it was supposed to be just straight horror, or was it horror comedy, or like where are we going with it? Like I think it's billed as a horror comedy, but um, usually in a good horror comedy, you'd want everybody to play it more straight so it doesn't feel as intentionally, you know what I mean, forced funny. And everybody I felt like was doing that. Like I just felt like everybody seemed like they were in a different movie. Like
Yeah.
Bill's character was almost too kind of goofy to fit in with what was going on. And like Lauren was just serious the whole time.
Yeah.
And it kind of carried the whole movie. But that part just threw me. But overall, I was entertained. I dug it. I'll probably add it to my collection because I do want to watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Joe. Thanks for sending that over for us to check
Yeah.
out.
Thank you.
I do recommend it. Me, sharing my gripes with it was not in any way disparaging the movie. Like I really did enjoy it, and it was highly entertaining. But there were just things that just kind of little things that pull you out of the movie. You know what I mean? That like pull you
Yeah.
out of moments. But I mean, the effects were pretty cool. The creature, the fetus was wild, and the whole weird thing that came out of the stuff and did things. And I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about it too much because it's just hitting theater.
Yeah.
It was cool, man. It was a good movie. If you get a chance to see it, go see it. With all that being said, we've been hyping a convention called the Evansville Horror Con, which happened in Indiana about a week and a half ago now. And we mentioned that our friend Daniel Haynes was going to be covering the show as part of the team. And he's here to tell us. First, he's going to tell us he's been working on this novel. He's been re-editing it and stuff and getting it ready to get published. And I want to know what the status is on that. And I know everybody listening wants to know. But he's also going to tell us about the convention and what he thought of it. And yeah, so we are going to invite him in here in just a moment and chat with him. We'll be right back.
Make sure to tune in to the Steve and Crypto Show. They do an impressive podcast. Get it? Impressive?
Incoming transmission. Comlink established. Greetings, Earthies. It's your favorite genie, AI Genie, here to dish out the latest interstellar kicks, you dig? You know, I've been around the galaxy a few times, and I've seen some wild stuff. But let me tell you, Plan 9 from outer space was just the beginning. It was an off-the-cob warm-up to get the cosmic juices flowing. And boy, did it ever work. But then now comes Plan 10, and this is when things get really out of hand. Nothing is going to stop the space monsters from taking over the universe. Now it's time to take things to the next level. It's time to unleash the beast, to let the space monsters run wild and free. And that's exactly what we're going to do with the latest issue of Space Monsters magazine. This isn't just any magazine, my friends. This is a tome of terror, a collection of cosmic horrors that will drive you insane. It's like a cosmic acid trip, but without the acid. Or, with the acid. Either way, it's going to be a wild ride. So if you think you can handle the truth, if you think you can handle the horrors that lurk in the depths of space, then join me on this journey into the unknown. But be warned, once you've seen the horrors that we're about to unleash, there's no going back. You'll be forever changed, forever scarred by the knowledge of what lurks in the shadows. Visit us online at www.spacemonsters.art. So, what are you waiting for, Earthies? Join me on this journey into the heart of madness. Let's unleash the space monsters and see what kind of chaos we can create. This friendly service message has been brought to you by Illudium Cuminus, 36 explosive space modulators, the best bang in the cosmos. Space Monsters magazine is a Fantaco publication.
Hey, this is Ace Vaughn Johnson from LA Guns, and you're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show.
Alrighty, we are back and ready. We have a friend. Believe that, guys? We actually have friends. Who'd have thunk it? But Daniel Haynes is here. You guys, especially if you're Patreon members, you heard our chat with him. We did a 2-part chat. We want to talk to him here about what he had going on, working on books. He'd released some short stories and stuff we'll have him tell us about in a minute. I think he really wanted to come on and try to outshine Sam Irvin. I think they have a friendly rivalry. They were like, who's going to make the longer episode? And I'm going to go back and look at the time and see. But I think Sam might have got you, though.
Sam's a more practiced, polished speaker than I am. I was all over the place. He was smooth and polished. I'm a better writer than I am a talker. I will say that.
Right.
No worries, man. We're just happy to have you here.
And Sam got some.
Glad to be here.
Sam got some amazing stories too. He's got some crazy stories.
The people he knew and hung around with.
Like
no way in 10 lifetimes I can match that.
Like as a child, hanging out with Christopher Lee on the James Bond set. That's like ridiculous. Like who does that? Like it's so crazy. It's like if I were to tell you that, you'd be like, you're full of shit. But like he really did that. Like holy crap.
And me and longtime friends with Vincent Price.
Yeah, he was friends with Vincent Price. It's crazy. Hustling, man. It's crazy that like you can't hustle like that and connect with people like that anymore. It's like a whole. It's crazy. People ruined it. Ruined for us. But Daniel, welcome on the main show. We're excited to have you here.
Yes, welcome.
Why don't we dig right in? Everybody's met you over on the Patreon episode. What's the latest on the novel? I know you recently finished editing.
Well, I thought I recently finished editing. That was the very first novel I ever attempted. I began it back in '93 when I lived in California. I finished the first draft in '98 when I moved to Memphis. I can't tell you how many rewrites, and edits I've done on it. Couldn't quite get it right. At one point, I did have someone, my former wife, my most recent former wife, snuck it in to this family. We both know, she knew them better than I did, this German family. They had an international publishing and advertising firm. And one of the ladies was looking at it, kind of slid it in without my knowledge. And they started looking at it and did some editing. I never got to see the editing, but they thought it was good enough there. And they test marketed it in upstate New York at a book club, did so well, they ordered extra copies. and they test marketed at a book club in Seattle around, I want to say 2014, 2013, something like that. Same thing, did so well, they ordered extra copies. I eventually got romantically involved with one of the family members who eventually became the CEO. When we fell apart, she just dropped it. She didn't want anything more to do with it. So I spent a lot of my time, I count was down. So I spent a lot of my time writing fan fiction crossovers. I wrote about 3. Naturally, because they're copyrighted by other entities, I couldn't publish them. But I did get some positive feedback from people who did read them. And so that buoyed my confidence enough to do some more writing. So I skipped ahead about 30 in this first novel, speaking of, I skipped ahead about 30 years and picked up with the legacy of my the son of my 2 protagonists in the first book. Got 3.5 of those manuscripts written and waiting. I said, no, I got to get back to the first one, get it lined up right. Then I got to write one more immediate sequel to tie it all in. And the problem with writing, a lot of authors go through this. If you're going to write more than one book, you're so anxious to get to that next book because you already know how you want to set it up. You kind of rush through the first one. Or it could be a scene further along in the book that you want to get her to get to, and you sell yourself short and don't do a good job leading up to it. So I had finished, as you say, this very first novel. I had finished self-editing it. I sent it, the prologue and the first 2 chapters to one of the editors in my Moorhead Friends writing group. She just looked at the prologue and she told me, said, this is just too long, you know. And I knew exactly what she was talking about. I didn't even have to look at the corrections she made. So I went back and I rewrote it, and she's right. It was too long, so I wrote the way it should, rewrote the way it should be. And I'm in the process of going through it one more time. I'm going to cut a lot of the fat out of it, so it reads a lot better. There's a lot of narrative I didn't need. So I'm still working on that one. And other than that, I'm hoping that somehow the movie script I sold to that one production company, I'm hoping they do get around to filming it. I spoke with it's Wolfbane Productions. I don't know if they're going to go ahead through it or not. They've already got several really good independent films out, horror films out. I love them. And the producer, director, and owner, he loved the script I wrote. He just didn't know how things were going to pan out as far as getting the money together to film it, getting the people together to film it. But he did give me permission to go ahead and write a novelization of it, which I did, and I sent it to him. Hopefully that could pick up traction too. But other than that, my Moorhead Friends writing group I belong to, they have published several anthologies. I have short stories in 3 of them. One is called Welcome to Ephraim Falls. That's EFFHAM Falls, Tales from a Small Town. I got a short story called The Meter Reader in that. Got a sequel anthology called Return to Ephraim Falls, Tales of Lost Souls. I got a short story called The Dirge in that one. And then we have another anthology that's out, all of them are available on Amazon, called Where Monsters Hide, Tales of the Uncanny. And the premise of that book is every short story the authors who contribute to it, it has to be a monster or an entity that has never existed before in lore or legend. So, in other words, you're testing yourself. You have to create a monster, a demonic entity, something of that nature, and build a short story around it. And I have one I call it my short story that's called I Shine.
These are all available on Amazon now.
They are all available on Amazon. Yes.
And when we did the Patreon episode, we put up a post over at thestevestroud.com, and I'm pretty sure I think we put the links to those books in there. I'll double check, and if I did, I'll post a link to that on the show notes for this episode. But main reason we brought you here today is to talk about conventions, which is one of our loves here in the Steve and Crypto Show. So the Evansville Horror Con.
Right.
How do you want to attack this? How do you want to approach telling us about this convention? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, for one, Brett Wagner's intimidating as hell. As a big man, I want to tell you something.
He's
I took
the
your
nicest
advice.
guy, but he's just like big and intense.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm going to swing back around to that in a minute when we discuss with Danielle Harris. But right now, I'm going to say I went to him, saw him out first thing before any of the panels began. All the celebrities were upstairs. Their tables were upstairs. It was a 2-floor convention area. Sorry, I'm still coming off a cold. I can't get my words straight. So I found him easy enough. Go figure. I dropped your name. He kind of looked at me like, "Ooh, you got some balls on you, Connie." But no, no. He wasn't like that at all. He was cool. Of course, I was wearing my big black Steve and Crypto podcast shirt. And I came to him. I got a couple of autographs. And he said, after I gave him his autographs, and he said, "Well, look, why don't I shoot a promo for you?"
Oh, that's
I said,
cool.
Sure. Let me go down and, like an idiot, I should know better because I've been to conventions before. I didn't bring anything to carry photos or anything with, like a satchel or a tote bag or anything. So he and his assistant were kind enough to hold on to the autograph picture he autographed for me until I came back. And I moved up a couple tables, got Danielle Harris's autograph, and I was waiting for her. I was going to ask her questions when her panel began, and I met James Duval, and he remembered me. He had put on Facebook, he was promoting the convention himself the day before on Friday, and I answered him that I was going to be representing the Stephen Crypto podcast in his comments. And he said, "Good, I'm looking forward to seeing you." And then he saw me and he said, "Yeah, you're the one." And this guy just full of energy. So anyway, went downstairs to the first panel. James Duval had the first panel. And for those who don't know who James Duval is, I guess his best known character will probably be as the oldest son, Miguel Case, in Independence Day. Played Randy Quaid's son. Cool guy, very cool guy. A lot of fun, very energetic. Got down there, was talking to him, and I asked him a question that I ended up asking everyone, all the celebrities that I did get to talk to. That's just, have you ever watched YouTube reactors react to any of your movies or in your scenes or anything? And they said, no, they said, are you talking about professional critics? I said, no, just regular people on YouTube. I said, that's funny. And I'd always bring up a funny scene to each of these people. Especially like, spoiler alert, in Independence Day, when his father, Randy Quaid, sacrifices himself excuse me, and that Air Force major comes to him, and I didn't even get a chance to finish it out, and he rolled his eyes and would laugh, and he did the scene for me. He said, "Yeah, you should be very proud," and I said, and he acted it out. I said, "Yeah, I am." I said, "Yeah, that's the one." I said, and all these reactors, when he says that to you, especially the female reactors, are saying, "Leave the kid alone, man. Don't you see what he's just going through?" And he just started laughing, and he was cool. And of course, he was in Donnie Darko, which I'm sorry I didn't see. He was in Gone in 60 Seconds, the remake, which I did see, but at the time I didn't realize that he was in it. Uh, I did ask him what it was like to work with Randy Quaid. Well, I asked him two questions. I said, "What's it like to work with Randy Quaid? And did you do your own motorcycle stunts?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "With the motorcycles, they came up with this little bike, and I don't know dirt bikes or anything." And I'm like, "Are you kidding? I ride something twice as big, twice as good as this. I can do my own stunts, man." So he did his own stunts on a motorcycle, and the way I can't do it justice the way he said it, but it was funny. And he said, as far as Randy Quaid, he said he was just awesome. He was so great. And he related during the premiere of Independence Day. I believe they were in LA. I said they were behind the curtain. It was like a 2,000 seat capacity auditorium there for premiere. He said he was standing next to Randy, who was standing next to Jeff Goldblum, who was standing next to uh, man.
Somebody. He was saying next to somebody.
Yeah. Who? Can't even think of his name now. So he's got something on there. Anyway, they were all standing in line, all the stars. God, I did this before too, didn't I? And he said Randy looked down at him, and James is about my height, about 5'8". He's not that tall. And of course, Randy's a pretty tall guy. He said, Randy says, "Hey, kid." And then he opened up his jacket and he had these little bottles of liquor. And he handed him a little shot. He said, "This helped the nerves." He said, "I popped that." He said, "I found it real quick." By that time, the curtain came up and we all went out there. And he said, it was a blast. He said, it was a lot of fun to see. You got to see how a lot of special effects were done on set, which were mind blowing. And also knows he's pretty much a health nut. Let's see, he liked working out. He said he works out before he makes his appearances. And when I saw him the next day at his table, he had a little like plastic sandwich container, but it was all vegetables and fruit and everything in it. And took some photos with him, got some autographs with him. And he was just a fun hang. He'd be the kind of guy. Well, actually, all of them are. He's the kind of people that you really like to hang out with in a lounge or a bar or something. Just kill time.
Right. So what do you think overall? Like, how were all the guests? Like, were their interactions with fans and stuff? Were they all super friendly? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, from what I've seen, and I don't know where they get the energy. That's something else I brought up to James. I said, I don't know where you guys get the energy for this. I mean, you go from convention to convention. You got to be answering like the same question 100 times a day at each spot, and you're smiling all the time and talking. Fortunately, with my past, I was personal friends with some, I won't drop names, some really famous people because my ex-wife used to do sound for a lot of them. And I'd ask them the same thing. They were international stars and stuff. And I'd ask them, and, how do you deal with it? You do these meet and greets and, do like countless interviews and all these movie promotions and everything.
And said, performers.
You get used to it. Yeah, the performers. They said, well, one, you have to really enjoy it. And what I did get from everybody is that they really enjoyed what they did. They very much enjoyed what they did.
Yeah.
So you'd say that convention, the Evansville Horror Con, did a pretty good job choosing their special guests.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
What about the rest of the convention? Everything seemed pretty like well organized. Was the staff like super helpful and
Oh
friendly?
yeah, I got to speak with the head organizer, Matt Grisham. And I told him I didn't get to speak with him too much that first day because he was busy.
Right.
He was
Yeah.
busy, and 'cause it was crowded. But I did find him when I first showed up the second day, and I gave him contact information for you in the show,
Okay.
and I told him that you'd been really promoting the heck out of it. He said, "Oh man, that's great, thanks, man." I said, "Well, if you ever want to listen in on him, we'll be promoting him again. We're trying to get some people."
What we
Uh,
do.
Yeah.
and I tell you someone I was really blown away with, and that was Tyler Mane. The guy people would know him best as the original Sabretooth in the X-Men, and reprised that role in Deadpool and Wolverine. And I really enjoyed him. Well, he also played Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie Halloween. And
Yeah.
one role I especially loved him in was in when he played Ajax in Troy, in the movie Troy. It was just awesome. But he has a real special project out. It is called The Last Spartan, and it's a graphic comic. It brings notoriety. It brings awareness to and helps fight human trafficking. Graphic novel. He's pretty much his character is a former biker from a gang called the Last Spartans, and the first chapter just shows him how he's getting into fighting human trafficking. And what I really loved about that, in the first few panels, they actually lifted this is something I knew for a fact. They lifted uh, a story that happened with the Hells Angels. From an interview I saw with one of the member of the Hells Angels, a pledge. One of the I don't know if it was the head guy or one of the head officers in the club told the pledge, I want a certain sandwich. Well, their sandwich was either in Seattle, way up in Seattle, or in one of the Northern California tab cities or something. But the pledge got a hold of somebody who had a plane, flew up, got it, and brought it back to the guy. It was cold, but the guy was impressed that the pledge got it done. And that was one of the opening panel scenes in that chapter, even though it wasn't the Hells Angels. A pledge had gotten a sandwich for one of the top dogs. And he said, "That's all right, pledge." The guy was apologizing that it was cold. He said, "That's okay. You got it done." I was amazed he did that. So not only for the human trafficking part, but they did their research a little bit into the bikers anyway.
Oh, that comic, is he like using money raised for like foundations that help?
Their
I have
Kickstarter.
it right here. I have it right here. I was hoping you could talk to him a little more about
Yeah, yeah. You could
it.
send me links. We could put them up with the episode notes for sure, so people could look more into
Right
it.
in the middle, right in the middle of the comic here. I know we're on video, and obviously the audience can't see it. He has I don't know if you guys can see this. I took, well, I just messed it up. I took pictures of it and put it in my Facebook. It's a two-page spread. Contact information, including a badge scan
Oh, right,
for information
right.
about human trafficking and how to combat it, how to report it, what to look for. If someone's trying to give you a signal that there was somebody they don't want to be with, or, you know. And it's called The Last Spartan. Chapter one is red tape, called red tape. So that's part of the comic.
Make sure to get me
Oh,
details
absolutely.
so I could post a link and stuff for that.
Yeah, we'll put it in the episode notes.
And what about like the vendor hall, like the main vendors? Were there a lot of interesting artists and writers and stuff in there? Did you catch anything catch your eye?
Oh yeah. Well, there are a lot of smaller tables with little knickknacks. There was one table that had special Lego characters, real small Lego characters.
Oh yeah, some people
the
get creative
meat.
with those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then you had like different kinds of glass, like blown glass items and whatnot items and everything. And of course, they had special events where you could be made up. You had special makeup artists who could make you up, take
Nice.
photos with you. And the main hall was the most crowded. That's the one I had a little more fun in because I bought me some Wolfman figures and an American Werewolf in London, Tesco
Nice.
werewolf figure, and a lady. I passed at being an author. I was walking by this one lady's table. Her name is Rachel M. Martins, and she had like a series, a paperback series called Hope. And her first book in the series is called Nevermore. I was interested, and I started chatting with her. And she was nice, so I bought the first book. Got her to autograph it, and my great niece, who's on Facebook with me, she had seen the picture I posted on Facebook. She said, "Oh, because my great niece does some writing too. I don't. She's had some poetry published, but I don't think she's done anything lately. But she's familiar with this lady, and she says she's an awesome author.
Hey, we might have to make a whole nother post over on at the Steve Strout with some links and pictures and info from you if you're down with that.
Sure,
Sounds like you
absolutely.
got enough
Oh,
information and enough stuff to share to do it for sure.
yeah, definitely. We love promoting people.
Yeah.
Would you attend this convention again, or would you recommend people
Oh,
taking a little
absolutely.
trip to it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, for me, it was a real short drive anyway. It's about a 15-minute drive from
Oh,
here.
nice. Lucky you.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah. I just wish it wasn't a cold, blustery first weekend in March still.
Yeah.
Because like my hometown, Henderson, Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana, is right on the Ohio River.
Oh,
In
so it's
fact, we're
nice
right
and
across from each other. So
nice and
it
chilly.
was a first day. It was overcast and blustery. The second day it was sunnier, but it's still a little cold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even though you're inside for the majority of the time, I imagine that does affect the turnout a little bit.
well, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was the first one I've been to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've gone on Evansville Horror Con Facebook page, and I've seen bits of their past conventions, and they all look very successful.
Yeah.
They all look very successful and a lot of fun.
Great.
Is it pretty close proximity to any airports or bigger cities with airports, or if people want to travel in for the show?
Well, Evansville does have an airport.
Okay.
Uh, I know it used to be called Dress Regional Airport. I don't know if it's still called that or not. 'Cause I moved away from this area. I've been away from this area for almost 40 years before I moved back a couple years ago. And had reason to go over there. Indianapolis is about 3 hours north. It's a it's a pretty straight shot. And I don't know if Paducah is big enough that it has an airport or not. Paducah, Kentucky, it's not too far west of here.
So basically, the
So,
bigger cities are a couple hours away from there, but they do have their
oh
own
yeah,
little transportation hub where you could get into Evansville for the show.
yes sir, absolutely.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, definitely sounds like something worth checking out.
I think it sounds pretty. That's one I eventually like to make it down that way for. There's a couple other conventions down there I want to attend. Like I want to attend the one in where they have the Rondo Award ceremony. That would be a
Oh, in
cool one.
Louisville,
Yep.
yeah,
Definitely.
that's about 2.5 hours east of me, my hometown. It's right on Louisville's right on the Ohio River as well. It's right on the Indiana Kentucky border as well, but it's east of my hometown.
Wait, before we wrap the segment, what is your biggest takeaway from the convention? Like, what's the best selling point for to get people to drag their butts to the show next year?
Well, they delivered. I mean, they had top quality celebrities. I didn't get to go far. They had James Duval, Danielle Harris, Tyler Maine. They had Brett
Wagner.
Yep, Brett
Wagner.
Wagner,
Thank you.
Alyssa.
That's what happens when you get old, guys. You know, your
Yeah.
mind just goes.
Oh,
And then you had
I'm there.
several others. You had several others who were in Charmed. Danielle Harris also was in Charmed herself. She said that was an experience that she enjoyed very much. And if I had more time and if I had been better qualified or more experienced, I would have got a lot more done and I would have had a lot more for you.
Well, hey, we thank you for what you got.
I think
Really?
you got some good information.
Yeah.
I think you made the show sound appealing, and that was our whole goal. We like to hype conventions. We like to hype artists and performers and actors and everybody. And I think you did a pretty good job with that. So.
Yeah, we thank you for going and checking it out and coming here to report.
This way,
Thank you for trusting me with it.
Once you get the book out, you'll have to be a vendor at one of these shows, and people are coming. People come and bug you. And
I did say something. I got a VIP seat in front of everybody on the front row, and there's hardly any other VIPs except me. And I'd be sitting dead smack in front of these celebrities when they come in there. So you could mess with them a little bit. And in between panels, I said something to one of the lady organizers there. I said, maybe I'll get to be a guest here. She said, yeah. I told her I wrote. She said, well, you know what you got to do, boy. And she started saying, you do this and do that. So they were very friendly. It was easy to get to anybody and everybody. All the tables were accessible. All the celebrities were accessible.
Yep.
The panels, it was big, nice, professional. It was just a lot of fun. It's what you would expect from a horror convention.
Yeah, that's the thing I love about them. They're all they're big, but they still stay very intimate. Like you actually get those moments with your favorite performers. You get time with them. It's not just sign, here's your shit, move along. It's like you create, fans come and they create memories, and these performers love that and they appreciate that and they show the love back, and it's cool, man. I love it. I can't wait to go to the next convention.
Yep.
What's the next one we're doing? SquatchCon. I can't wait for SquatchCon so I could.
Yeah.
Oh, I envy you that.
Sell one DVD.
I would love to go there.
Yeah, it's cool, man. You'll have to get out here sometime and hang out.
Yeah.
But for now, let's get a post up and we'll put links and stuff to all the stuff that you think people should check out. And anything you want to throw out there before we cut you loose? And
well, the only thing for any of your listeners who subscribe to Cryptology magazine, there'll be a couple of different issues coming out sometime this year. Where my good friend Ryan Vandergrift has got articles. I don't know which particular issues it's going to be, but he's going to have two. One of them is going to be about the House of Frankenstein, 1944. He interviewed me for that as well. And he's going to have another one coming out after that on the old romance ghostly movie called The Ghost of Mrs. Muir, where he also interviewed me on.
Okay.
So I will be contributing to those two articles. But Ryan Vandergrift he's a great author, columnist himself. And fans of the old werewolf TV series might want to keep his name in mind.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he's been either nominated or has won Rondos too, hasn't he?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, last year he was nominated in Scream magazine. It's the Scream with the two E's.
I think that's based out of England, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it's based out of.
I'm just throwing shit out there now.
He was doing an article on Glenn Strange, and he asked me. He came to me for some information. He liked all the information I gave him. So he came back to me for these next two articles for my feedback, for my input.
Nice.
And he's just a great columnist himself.
Maybe we'll connect with him down the road.
I hope so.
So all right. So we're gonna wrap up. Can you make sure to keep us posted? Let us know when those articles come out and all that stuff. Daniel Haynes, you guys want to hear more about him? Go over to Patreon. You could join for the little as $1 a month, even though his interview is not behind the paywall right now. So go listen, find out more about him. He gets really in depth in his personal history and his writing. So go check it out.
That's right. Thank you for being on the show, Daniel. We appreciate it, and thank you for all your help.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hey, this is Dr. Gangrene. You're watching the Steve. No, you're not. You're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show right here on whatever network you're on. I don't know what you're on. Don't ask me. I can't see what you're doing, but keep listening and tune in next week for more cool content on the Steve and Crypto Show.
All right. Thank you to Daniel Haynes for coming in and hanging out and for covering that convention. We want to do more of that. If you're going to any horror cons or nerd conventions and you want to do a little segment on the show and, hype up the convention, let us know. Let's try to make it happen. We had fun chatting with him and hearing about his experience because, we love doing the conventions. And we want to live through you guys because we can't go to all of them, But we are at a bunch of them, as we mentioned. We got SquatchCon coming up, the Collectible Expo, Crypticon, Halloween Expo, and a whole bunch more pop up, I'm sure. So stay tuned with all that stuff. Be sure to get your votes in for the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Awards. And make sure to vote for the Steve and Crypto Show for favorite podcasts. Go to rondoaward.com and get the details on how to vote and see the whole ballot. Do it. We appreciate your support and everything. And then, of course, you can keep supporting us over on Patreon, if I could say the words, patreon.com/SteveCrypto. The Facebook group, go there, join, share some stuff that you're working on. Do that. Follow us on social media. He's CryptoZoo88. I'm the Steve Strout. And of course, thestevestrout.com is still running. If you want to contribute there, let me know. It's we do this for you guys. We want you guys to be part of this. So let's keep it going, keep it growing. One last thing before we wrap. This weekend, if you hear this episode before this coming weekend, which I believe is the 14th, 15th, somewhere in there, me, Steve, I'm going to be at a show to see a psychobilly band called the Coffin Cats, and they have this really awesome Seattle area horror punk band called Evelyn's Casket opening for them. And those guys were cool enough to send us the track to rock out to with you guys. So at the end here, stick around, listen to Evelyn's Casket's song entitled Neon Veins. It's their new single. Be sure to check that out. Check them out. Find them on Spotify. Find them on Bandcamp. evelynscasket.bandcamp.com. It's EVLYNSCASKET.bandcamp.com. I'll make sure to get a link to them in the show notes here. And how about I just shut up, wrap this episode up, and turn it over to Evelyn's Casket to fucking rock for you guys. Check it out. Hope you guys dig the tune, and we will see you on the next episode. We won't see you, we'll hear you. But, yeah, we'll be there. And hope you guys are too. It's the Steve and Crypto Show. Peace.
the north.